2013.
It still says that?
Well,
it still theoretically says it.
If I had a watch, it would theoretically tell us that it's time to talk about 2013.
Yes, because damn it, we're done with 2012.
Yep, it's done.
Yeah, more or less.
Good riddance.
Yeah.
2 console releases and some great games, but still all the sad news.
Yeah, so let's go into 2013. Let's talk about...
Are we going to be pessimistic with this one? Or are we gonna
I don't know. We're going to find out, because I don't have any lists here of what we're going to do. So let's just talk openly and see what happens, what edited stuff gets through here. So let's start with Microsoft. Microsoft, they've been doing really well the last couple of years. They're just rubbing themselves all over.
With all that money. It's because the Xbox 360's got a new revision, the Kinect, all the third-party support. It pretty much was the go-to system for this generation.
Yeah.
It destroyed the Wii in the second half, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, and the way it turned out is that they're coasting now. Microsoft's been coasting the last year or so because they know that they can release Halo or Forza
or Call of Duty,
and Call of Duty will just fill the gaps. And it's really that easy now because now everyone who buys the system is buying multi-platform games on the Xbox 360. Now, here's my first major...
for Xbox 360.
Yeah, this is Microsoft in general, but the Xbox 360. The Xbox 360 will outsell every system this year in the aggregate, and it will also outsell every system consistently until probably September or October. Because right then, either a major release for the Wii U might help surpass it, or at the same time, a new system might come out to do the same. Note that I didn't say handheld, because I think the 3DS will surpass that at points along the road.
I have to happen to agree with you on this one, actually. I think that the Xbox 360 has such momentum. The payment plans they have installed, the cheap, how it's far more affordable than the Wii U is currently, and the games just keep coming out. I mean, the next Gears of War is coming out for it. All the third-party games are coming out for it.
Yeah.
There are games being announced for the Xbox 360 right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, these games are probably not coming out to the holiday season, and the new systems are coming out. Why are people still supporting the Xbox 360? And the reason is because right now they're selling millions of them.
Yeah, the 360 today is the software seller. It's the one that all the software is being sold to. So you're going to get a lot of that. I suspect that that it comes to third-party games. A vast majority of the top-selling games will be 360-based. In fact, the NPD sales and all that stuff, you're going to see 360 among the front. Now,
as far as whether the Xbox 360 will be around after the new Xbox comes out, I think Microsoft knows that the Xbox 360 is giving them money. I think much like the PS3 did with the PS2, and what Nintendo's going to do with the Wii, is they're going to keep it around for maybe another year. So the new system's going to come out, and then they're just going to let the Xbox 360 chill for another year. I mean, there's going to be third-party support on it for another year or so. Because, let's face it, developers aren't going to really want to jump on that expensive platform just yet. They might, but they might want to jump on that really big platform.
Yeah. I think that the Xbox 360 is going to have a price drop, probably halfway into the year. Maybe they may even announce that at G3. I think that it's going to drop $50 across the board, and then they're going to do that because they want to sell as much as possible before the new system comes out.
Yes, I have to agree with that as well.
In terms of actual releases from their perspective, Microsoft is kind of in this zone where they don't have any major releases to announce. We kind of see Gears of War as like their last big release. I think there's one more hidden in there, but I think it's going to be Kinect-based.
But they already have they released this past holiday season, we saw Halo, we saw Forza, and Gears of War is coming out. What other games can they bring to the table besides another Kinect, another sports?
Well, they'll probably do another Kinect game. I think that they have something like that. They're going to have something because they're not going to let it just sit to nothing. They're going to they might not even. Here's the thing. Here's the crazy one. I don't think 360 is going to be even heavily discussed at all at E3. I think that they might not even show it at their press conference. They may have like one thing to show it and be like, and now the big thing to come. But I don't know if they're going to do it.
For me,
they don't seem like the type of company that
think if Call of Duty, they're going to have a Call of Duty game.
Yes.
I think if the Call of Duty is going to come out for the Xbox 360, I think Microsoft's going to say, "All right, third parties, you release your games this holiday season. We're done. We're moving on to the next platform."
Yeah.
Unless Microsoft had only started working on this console, the new console, like last year, then they'd have something this year.
They've been working for longer than that. And since we're talking about it, let's move on to the next Xbox. The next Xbox blowout at this E3. There's no denying it. They have a countdown for it. For Pete's sakes,
They say what was it? What was the line they said?
And here we go, or something like that.
Okay, here we go. It begins.
No, and we get something like that. And it's on. There we go.
And it's on. And basically, I'm assuming that has something to do with the tagline for the new console.
Yeah.
If it's going to be an Xbox 720,
it's always on.
Xbox 20, Xbox
Loop or whatever it's
Loop
called.
or the next box. Who knows what they're going to call it?
I think that the Xbox 3, the next Xbox, next box or whatever you want to call it, if it's going to be unveiled in any way before E3, it'll be to GDC. And it'll be teased. It'll be like, here's the technology we're working on. Kind of like what they did with that Xbox Vision. Remember that?
Yes, I heard about that.
That was shown off at CES, and I'm not confident that's going to be within the system itself. It's complicated because it has to be projected, which means lights involved, which means everything has to be turned off. And secondly, it has to be a camera located nearby you so that it can project it onto the wall. It's a cool, interesting idea. It adds some atmosphere, but it's not something that's affecting gameplay, so it probably is not something that's going to be packaged in with the new system.
Now, I'm assuming as far as actual details of the console, I'm thinking that it's going to have the controller is going to be fairly similar to the Xbox 360's controller. There might be a trackpad or some sort of touchscreen element, some kind of touch element onto the device. It might have gyros in it for motion games as well. It might have something like a marker on it on the front, like a color or a band on it. It looks like a color band. They might actually, or something, so that the Kinect or whatever it is going to see it easier, so that the correlation between controller and Kinect is much more efficient. I also think that although I always assume there's going to be a Kinect 2, which is going to have all the new hardware, new technology, make it better than the Kinect 1, I don't think they're going to show off the Kinect 2. I think they're going to do is we're going to release the new Xbox, the new Xbox 720, and it's going to come with an original Kinect. It's going to come with a Kinect. All of them are going to come with Kinects because they want to make sure everybody's on the same table.
Yeah,
and then they're going to release maybe 2 years from now or so. They're going to release Kinect 2. Better stuff, better technology, better games.
I think you're wrong. I think they are going to release a Kinect 2 around launch around this time because they need to keep Kinect alive as a concept. I feel that Nintendo didn't do that very well with the Wii in terms of motion control. Microsoft doesn't want that stagnation, so they're going to release a Kinect 2 in the next year. It won't be bundled in with the Xbox 360 except for the higher SKU. Instead, they're going to have it be separate purchase, and it's going to come with a game. And what's going to happen is it's going to be focused on a lot more motion control than you suspect. In terms of games, one game is going to be Rare.
Mm-hmm.
Rare is going to have a game, probably a shooter, surprisingly so, seeing as their last games were Kinect Sports. But I think they're learning that at the beginning of a generation, you don't support the casual audience as well as you think you should.
Which is where Nintendo has been faltering.
Because they know that they need to get people to jump ship immediately to make sure they get that loyalty. No Halo. They're going to show a Halo trailer at E3, but it's not going to come out.
There's some kind of game that they're working on.
Forza.
Maybe. They may have a demo.
Because Forza Horizon was not developed by Turn 10.
Okay, so
the next Forza game. Also, Rise. There's been tweets from Crytek about Durango once or twice. They're the ones who are making Rise. I think that game, which was shown in like a teaser trailer, that's coming out either as a 360 game or as a game for Durango at the end of the year.
And I speculate there's going to be a lot of support for this, third-party support for it.
Call of Duty will be on the system. If it's not on the Xbox 360, the next Xbox, then I don't know what's going on. That is going to. My guess is that it's going to be an exclusive content. There's going to be an exclusive level or mission or something to emphasize this new system to try and get people to move from Xbox to that system.
And that's the other thing I'm worried about is transfer. As of right now, nobody's had any problem with transferring information because they never had to worry about it before.
But now
we have a new system. I think the Wii was the first one that never actually had to worry about transferring stuff. Now we're like, okay, now we have an Xbox 360, a new Xbox. How do you transfer?
We're going to find out. And Microsoft, and knowing Microsoft, they'll probably be easier to do.
I mean, yeah, because they've done it where you can actually access your gamer file elsewhere.
Yeah.
So. Also,
the last thing, I think that price-wise, it'll be 2 SKUs. One will be the pricey SKU, probably between $500 and $600, and then there's going to be a second one. Now, here's the twist. They've been doing this pricing system where you pay for $99, get the Xbox 360, and then you pay for like $250 for the next 2 years, which is more than the system should cost, but it's cheaper now. I think they're going to do the same thing.
I have to agree.
They're going to release the system in the second pack is going to be at $200. You'll get the system and maybe a Kinect, but you'll be in a 3-year contract, which will add up to being about $600,
or maybe more.
Or maybe more. And the reason is because they want to undercut the Wii U. They're going to do exactly what they did before, which is they're going to have the system that's high-end for the hardcore gamers to buy, and then they're going to have it undercut the Wii U so the casuals don't buy the Wii U. It's going to be a two-pronged attack against Nintendo's system as well as Sony's system to be in both directions at once. It's going to maybe not be as casual at launch, but it's going to be at a casual price, enough that people will want to buy it.
I have to agree with that as well. I think, but as far as SKUs, I think it's going to be it's going to come in 2 SKUs, like you said.
Yeah.
And the one with but I think the one with the payment plan won't come with the Kinect.
Okay.
Or at least the Kinect 2. If there's a Kinect, it's going to have with it. There's not going to be a bundle with a game. You have to buy the game separate.
Okay.
And finally, I think that as far as that rumor with the Kinect loop or the Xbox loop
that we had a while back,
it may have been something one time. If it's not shown at the C3, it never was a thing.
Okay. So now let's move to Sony. We talked too long enough with Microsoft. So let's talk to Sony.
Hey, Sony.
Hey, Sony, how you doing?
Where's our Vita?
Well, first, PlayStation 3. PlayStation 3. PlayStation 3, this is its last year.
It has to be.
In terms of major software, it's last year. We already know the first half of the year. We have God of War, you have Sly Cooper, you have Puppeteer, and you have The Last of Us. Puppeteer might even be coming out in the second half of the year. I think that and Rain and all those like that cold game with the Move, that's all coming out the second half of the year. I think that with that in mind, the PS3 is going to have a price drop again, about a $50 price drop. Perhaps, because they didn't do a price drop last year, they had a bundle. So they're going to unbundle the system, as it were. As for other major games for the PS3, I'm not seeing much. Other than that, The Last Guardian, I think, has kind of moved. I think The Last Guardian is going to be a PS4 game. And if not, it will be the swan song for the PS3 right before the launch of the PS4.
And this is where I agree with you with this being the last year for the PS3, but like I said with the Xbox 360, they're not going to get rid of it. Because the third parties are going to need a place to go to when they need something to develop cheaply. I think the PS3 is going to stick around for at least another year. But I think they might be able to do bundles throughout the rest of this year. Yeah. In the following year, 2014. But in 2013, you're right. We know all the games are going to come out.
PlayStation Plus will be a big thing still.
Yeah, that'll be a big thing. Honestly, I don't even know what Sony can do. Like, they already announced, all the games they announced were all their big hitters. They should have held back on some of them.
Well, at the same time, we're still in the beginning of the year. They got half a year of game content for
now. I think that Microsoft, I think that Sony at E3 is going to be focusing solely on their new platforms.
But before we do that, we'll do the Vita. The Vita's biggest concern is actually selling well.
That is a big concern.
That's always a concern. No, but the system itself has been selling poorly at this point. In Japan, it's not selling well. In America, it's not selling well. It's not selling anywhere well at all. And that's kind of more indicative of the handheld market kind of contracting. So the Vita has Soul Sacrifice coming out in Japan. I think it'll do a good job of getting people to move to it, but it's not going to stop against the juggernaut of Monster Hunter 4.
Yeah, for me, the Vita needs more unique games. It needs something that's different, something that's original. And I think that, like Puppeteer, that's a game that should have been on the Vita, not the PS3.
Well, there's Tearaway.
Well, Tearaway is going to be a big thing. They're going to push Tearaway like crazy.
Also, they're going to have a new Killzone game for the system, developed by Guerrilla Games.
And actually developed by Guerrilla Games.
So that'll be heavily pushed as well.
Yes.
I think that's going to do it some well. I think, however, if those games don't come out by E3, there might be something like an ambassador program kind of thing. I think we're now too late for an ambassador program for the Vita, though, which is kind of, I think, their plan. They didn't want to do something that Nintendo did and really drop the price really fast. So now they can release a price drop for $50 and not feel guilty about it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Also, if they do, they might have something called, like, they might just give you free PlayStation Plus for a year.
Now, as far as the Vita itself, do you think? I'm thinking. I mean, when the PSP came out, they released other versions of the PSP.
They might do that. I don't see I think
the Vita's hardware is already well put together. I don't think they need to make another one.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I do agree they're going to price drop it, maybe, or bundle it so make it look like there's it's
price drop,
$250 with a game.
Third-party support for the system will remain PS3 ports. There may be, I think Namco Bandai might announce a few more
maybe Tales of games going to it or something.
Yeah, there's a few of those games. But I have a feeling that other than that, the system is kind of sitting in this position where it's like it doesn't even know what it is. It's in a. I
think that's
crisis.
more of a problem with Sony, with general, is it looking at the handheld market or looking at the Vita and saying, it's the PSP. Why isn't it selling? Because they took the wrong ideas out of it. It's being original. It's being portable. It's being special. Yeah. And right now, it's not being special because all the experiences you can get on the Vita, you get on the PS3. Why spend the extra money on it?
So I hope there's going to be more unique products.
So yeah, so new bundle instead of I'm saying bundle instead of price drop.
Yeah.
And I'm also saying maybe new color. You never know. And also focus on Tearaway, Killzone, and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 or 2 new games that are really going to be pushing on it this E3 before they announce the new platform.
The PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 4, or Orbis as it is, it's going to be a big system in terms of content.
Yes.
They're going to heavily push... there's one thing they haven't even pushed much is their media device. They don't even push as a media... The PS3 hasn't been really much of a media as much as it could have been. But I do think that they're going to have a big push for the high graphic end. They've been high-ending graphics constantly. They might have an issue comparing themselves against the next Xbox, but they're definitely going to try and say, we're the next thing. But once again, that identity crisis issue keeps coming out. It keeps bubbling from the surface.
And that's the big problem here. They have to be... I think that's the reason why they're so quiet. Is because they really don't want the other to know how powerful their consoles are. Because if, say, Sony said, okay, here's a new console, Microsoft can look at it and go, okay, we need to make it better than that. Yeah. And that's the reason why they were so quiet. Because they realized, like, looking back each forth at each other, going, okay, we both have to share the same third-party games, and it's really down to whoever's the strongest. And I think that's what they're really like. The Wii U is not selling well. We're going to go head-to-head with Microsoft.
So the announcement time will be either at E3 or at their PlayStation event that's coming up next month.
Yeah, rumors had it they actually were going to showcase it at GDC and sell for about $500. They are not going to have a payment plan like Microsoft.
No, they're not. They'll probably have something they may have something similar, but I don't think they're going to have the payment plan.
I think it's going to be. I think instead of $600, they're going to sell it at $400 and $500.
Yeah,
and I think it's probably going to happen.
I do think that
or even a downgrade version at like $300.
Yeah, and the reason why I think it's coming out is if it's announced, it'll be announced in February because they announced the PlayStation Vita in January before E3, which was a big thing. I don't know why they did it, but they did. So I think that something from PlayStation 4 might happen before E3, which is odd, but they might do either or.
I feel that as far as the controller, again is going to be pretty similar. Again, except. I'm basing this as complete speculation.
Okay.
Based on a patent we saw. Basically, it's a move controller that locks together and makes it look like a controller.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's going to be a PS3 controller with like knobs on it or something that break apart and becomes move controllers.
Yeah.
Something to akin like that.
It might be an extra controller that they might have announced with the system, but they might just have a normal controller as well. I mean, kind of like how the Wii U also has the Pro controller. It's going to be like that. I do think that in terms of launch titles, that's going to be a bit of a question. I do think that if Last Guardian is not on PS3's end of the year list, it's a PS4 game.
I also think a new Uncharted.
A new Uncharted or new IP from Naughty Dog.
Maybe
a new game from Media Molecule that's been in development for a while.
Media Molecule, that's what they're working on. Tearaway.
Tearaway was another project. They have 2 projects in development.
Okay, and they also probably have maybe Little Big Planet for the PS4.
Maybe.
And then there's Insomniac.
Insomniac, they've kind of broken off with them a bit. They've been focusing a lot with EA lately, so I'm kind of questioning whether or not we're going to see a Ratchet and Clank game announcement. I do think we're going to see something in the form of a teaser trailer for Gran Turismo, and definitely a teaser for Killzone, but not actual announcements of content. Mainly because they don't have the time to work on that. They're working on the Vita game. Whereas,
and they're also going to be talking about 4K televisions.
The 4K television, they're going to say our system is more HD than your HD is, and so that's going to be a big push for them. Whereas Microsoft is going to be more about the services and whatnot. Now, Sony will be more about the technology.
Oh, and the cloud.
And I think Gaikai will be used as a play device. Suddenly, you don't need to actually download demos. You can have them streamed to your PS4 straight from Gaikai without any issues. And that actually sounds pretty cool, because now you can play a game almost like instantaneously and see how it is.
Now, one thing about this new
and backwards compatibility for both systems, obviously, Xbox.
I don't think is well. Maybe. Here's my big hypothesis. I pull up the Vita again because they're going to make it so the Vita guy here works well with it.
They're going to make it essentially act as stream as well as they can, like they do with the PS3.
Yes, except this is going to be done more akin to take away from the Wii U concept. Imagine holding, because if you look at it, it's a controller. It has the Darnell buttons, and it's perfect.
I'm not sure if it will do it well enough, but it'll definitely be something they push at some degree.
Yeah, I feel this could actually be turned into something.
Last year,
maybe not as fully functional as a Wii U device, but I definitely see some sort of connection between the two, and they'll be pushing it just so they can say it.
All right, and price point you said $450.
I'm saying 400 in a small SKU and 500 in a big SKU.
I'm not doubting that. Now, will we see any game encroach 70?
I think the big games might hit 65, but they don't want to hit 70. I think if it hits 70, it has to come in some kind of specialized bundle. Games like Skylanders comes out at $70, and people barely buy those, but it comes with a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. All right. So, moving on from Sony, we're gonna finally hit Nintendo. Nintendo this year
has no new hardware.
No new hardware this year. But I suspect if there is any new hardware this year, it will be a 3DS, another 3DS.
3DS Lite.
But I suspect, 3DS Lite or something like that. That'll be announced at the end of the year, like the very far end. But it won't.
Okay,
Nintendo, first Wii and DS. Wii has no games other than from Exceed Games.
They just announced Pandora's Tower.
I don't think Wii is getting much of anything support anyways.
Yeah.
In fact, from my experience, the Wii is pretty much acting as if it's already being like GameCubed on game stores. I think that outside of like a new Skylanders, like there'll be another Skylanders. And there'll be the next game, which we've talked about, like Disney Infinity and all that stuff.
But I think that the Wii is pretty much, besides those games coming out to them,
just dead. I think it's dead. It's been dead effectively. Now it's kind of a corpse. It's a zombie, and it's moving along. It's not really doing anything, but Nintendo really keeps it up because it's going to make money,
and it gives them money because it's selling for so cheap.
Wii is going to sell probably about 2-3 million this year. That's
now. Do you think the Mini Wii is going to go anywhere? By the way,
no. It's
going to stick in Canada.
It was an experiment. I think that if they find that they're selling more Wiis than they can produce, they've produced rather, they'll convert to the Mini Wiis or Wii Minis. But I don't think they're going to do that.
I think the lack of the
features
internet and stuff is just really silly.
Yeah, I think they know that the people who are buying the system now are not buying it for anything other than for those cheap games. Anyway, as for the DS, the DS needs to go. They're done. Pokemon Blue and White 2 are done. That's it. $50 price drop, probably maybe $30 price drop by the end of the second quarter, and the game system will be discontinued by the end of the year.
Yep, no more DSIs.
By the release of Pokemon X and Pokemon Y, which we probably wouldn't have guessed.
Which we would never have guessed.
No, we wouldn't. I think I would have guessed it, to be honest. Some sort of Pokemon 3DS game. By that time, there will be no DSs available at the stores.
And because this is the final, like, okay, you guys bought Black. Now I feel I kind of was seeing this coming, but at the same time, I'm like, please don't do it. Basically, they announced it now because it's after the holiday season. People bought DSIs to buy Pokemon Black 2 and White 2.
They also announced it because they have it in a presentable form at this point.
But when you look at it, first off, it's way too. It looks early. They actually said it. It's early, and it's like, well, why even tell us? And the reason is because they want people to get hyped up for the 3DS.
Yes.
And it's like, well, why even bought... They just released Black 2 and White 2. It's like, okay, give us a year.
I think...
It's like releasing a new game right after one another.
Now, the 3DS didn't have a price drop last year, despite people's suspicions. I think it will have a price drop. I don't know when.
It won't be much.
It'll be down to about $160, so like a $20 price drop. The system, a lot of bundles from now on out.
I'm thinking Mario Bros. 2.
Those
Black... No, Y and X.
Animal Crossing. And I do think there's going to be a price drop. No, not a price drop, but when they bundle it, it's going to be installed software. It's not going to be a disc. A cart. It's just going to be installed in the system already. On top of that, Miiverse will be on the 3DS by the end of the year.
Yeah, they're going to introduce that probably at E3.
Yeah, maybe even earlier than that. Their big push for 3DS at the beginning of the year. You got Luigi's Mansion, you got Fire Emblem, you have Animal Crossing. That's going to be a pretty significant first half of the year.
Also, Castlevania is going to be there.
Castlevania and But I think Pokemon will be the big push for the year.
Now, third-party support on the 3DS is going to improve slightly, but I think it's
from Japan.
Japan
3DS is...
Oh, and Monster Hunter.
Yeah. 3DS is going to be big in Japan.
In America,
it will not succeed because most of the Western publishers that supported handhelds have either moved to mobile or are going bankrupt, or in the process of it. I think that the Pokemon X and Y will change the tides, but it will. But until then, the 3DS will underperform the DS at that point. New Super Mario Bros. 2 was not the saving grace that it could have been.
It was not, because
it doesn't.
It's the same stuff again.
No, it doesn't. It's not. It's not just that. It's the fact that there was nothing else coming. There's nothing to really entice people to buy the system when all you have is Mario. And even for children, when you have 50 games for $1 on a phone, there's be issues with that. Which is why I think Nintendo really needs to desperately discuss eShop more often to consumers in some fashion, instead of simply going, we have a case here with DLC written on it to represent a downloadable version. They need to be really more emphasizable on the system. In fact, they need to redo their marketing in general, because I'm not a gamer does not work.
In fact, the whole premise of the people not understanding that the 3DS is, it took them a whole year to get people to understand, oh, it's a new thing.
Yeah.
They're messing up again with the Wii U, which is what their next thing is.
Yeah. Actually, do you want to give any major announcements for 3DS by the end of the year?
Well, they already mentioned Pokemon. That kind of just stole my thunder for anything major coming out. I would love to see a Metroid game, but we're not going to see one.
New Zelda.
And I'm thinking, no, this is the question of the day, because I think last year Shigeru Miyamoto mentioned, oh yeah, I might be remaking Majora's Mask or remaking...
No, don't even read into that quote. Oh. It's going to be a Zelda game. It's the matter
Majora's Mask.
You think so?
I mean, Zelda...
I think it'll be a new Zelda game.
Well,
do you think it'll be as...
Well, Grezzo, the guys who made this, they could be going right from this to Majora's Mask.
So you think Majora's Mask?
It might be Majora's Mask, or it's going to be a brand new Zelda.
Okay.
That
and Pokemon, those two will be enough to sate the end of the year. I'd like to be surprised with other stuff, but that's pretty much it. Also, the Wii U.
Okay, the Wii U.
2012 sucked. For
yes,
the Wii U.
The launch wasn't very effective.
It was odd, because in the way it worked is that essentially its hype for the launch was left to New Super Mario Bros. U and Nintendo Land. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those products, but when you're looking at, compared to Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess and in Wii Sports, and then you look at the GameCube even with Luigi's Mansion, Smash Bros. Melee, and Pikmin, those are big franchises and unique ideas. Those two games, Nintendo Land and New Super Mario U, were not.
And so what Nintendo needs to do is they need new game experiences.
Yeah, and I think they're going to have some new ones already. It's just that it's going to take time. Now, here's a question: do you think Nintendo is going to go into panic mode before E3 shows up?
I think, depending on how the sales go over February, as they release games, I mean, Rayman Legends is coming out.
Rayman Legends
and Wii Fit U come out. If they don't get any jump on those two games, I think they'll start panicking. Now, panic mode, I don't think they're going to lower the price. I don't think they can. I think they might start doing sales on the Wii U games itself, because games need to sell and they're not selling. I think Nintendo might start telling people some of the games coming out for the Wii U.
I think they also might start I think they might bundle Nintendo Land in the basic set by the end of the year. But that's my thought. By the end of the year, bundling Nintendo Land in all systems will happen.
I think that I don't see a price drop, because Nintendo can't
afford it,
and they don't want to. They really don't want to.
They priced it at a point where they didn't want to drop it. I do think that they will enact some sort of purchase plan. Especially with the digital distribution thing, they have to advertise that digital promotion more often.
Yeah, we're going to see different kinds of bundles.
Yeah, different kinds of bundles.
I think it's going to stick with Nintendo, because depending on what comes out this year, we might get a hardcore one with like Bayonetta 2, or 101.
No,
those games are coming out for the holiday.
No, Wonderful 101 comes out anywhere between April of this year and the end of summer. It's not making it into the fall. It would be dead if it came out in the fall. Bayonetta 2 most likely will miss this year. Also, I suspect that Nintendo might announce one or two more projects with a developer that we don't expect. Something like new collaborations. We didn't have anything of that we haven't had anything of that recently.
Well, Namco Bandai worked with Smash Brothers.
Oh yeah, Smash Brothers
not coming out
this year.
But we are going to see some kind of teaser trailer, kind of like we did last time. if at all.
Yeah, we'll see a teaser trailer, and we'll probably see it in some form at a Nintendo Direct at the end of the year.
Yeah, and as far as Call of Duty is going to be on it again because Call of Duty did very well.
Comparatively.
Comparatively.
Call of Duty will be on it. There will be a new Sonic game on the Wii U. I just don't know what. I think that in terms of sales-wise, the biggest selling game will probably be the 3D Mario game that gets announced.
Yeah, we're assuming it's going to be a 3D Mario game and maybe a 3D... And Zelda will be on the 3DS. So
I think a retro game. Retro's game will be coming out this year. It will be Nintendo's big dark new IP. It will be a new IP.
And also, they're going to be releasing an RPG as well.
Yeah, there's going to be an RPG from Alpha Dream, or there's going to also be something from Monster Games, I think is due.
Monolith Soft.
Monolith Soft will have something in Japan. It will not make it to America this year. It'll be a 2014 title.
And also Virtual Console for the Wii U.
Virtual Console will be announced between now and E3. Maybe, GDC. If Nintendo is doing anything at GDC, it will be, because Nintendo tends to do it, it'll be a trailer for a Zelda game.
Now, as far as the Virtual Console, I wanted to say, I think they're going to have it where it's going to have different filters.
And I think you will be able to play it on your
of course, gamepad.
On your gamepad, of course.
So I also think save state will be a thing now.
And save state will be a thing going forward.
And maybe modifications.
I still think that the Wii U will have issues until the fall, because I think knowing Nintendo, that once they have the big seller software, then it won't be a problem. I mean, with the 3DS, they had Mario Kart and Mario.
No Mario Kart
and Mario 3DS. Mario Kart will be releasing early mid-ish 2014, unless they damn well rush it. Which case you don't want it anyways.
Yeah, so I'm thinking no Mario Kart and.
I mean, already listing a bunch of games that probably would help it out in any way.
As far as any other, as a peripheral, is there any other peripherals?
No
peripherals.
No
more.
Peripherals.
No. Not that zapper gun thing they had.
Oh yeah, they'll announce that. They'll have that probably for Retro's game. In terms of a shakeup, is there going to be a shakeup?
And if the near field communications.
Oh yes, that was the big one. Near field communications. This has been not used at all. It will be. The end of this year,
some kind of game
Nintendo will announce
with
it
figures or with cards or tokens or something, and Nintendo will release those.
Speaking of which, we can I think that's the big one. I think will be either a Pokemon-based card game that utilizes the near field communication or models of Nintendo characters in a way.
I kind of think that the card game will work with the 3DS's AR.
But what's going to happen is that from there, toys and games will be a big factor this upcoming year. Skylanders will have a third iteration, and Disney Infinity comes out halfway through the year. I think that fad will die by 2015. But besides the point, that's a big factor. What other development proceedings we're going to see? THQ is going to be bitten by a whole bunch of developers. I suspect Ubisoft and Warner Brothers will take the lion's share.
I think Ubisoft is going to, as far as games from Ubisoft, besides Rayman Legends, I think we're going to see another Assassin's Creed on the new platforms. Mm-hmm. It's a big push.
Yeah.
And we're going to see another Just Dance. Do you think another Just Dance? Or
there'll be another Just Dance.
Maybe a mix.
Watch Dogs will be shown again, but it'll be confirmed for 2014. Capcom will announce one new Mega Man game.
Just one.
And it'll probably infuriate us. I do suspect they'll also announce a Darkstalkers game for the next.
Of course they did.
Yeah, for next system.
The trailer shows that they're going to make one.
Metal Gear Rising will be the only major Metal Gear Solid game coming out.
They'll show actually.
Metal Gear Solid the Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes,
as well as that other game, which was it Phantom Pains, which is clearly Metal Gear Solid.
That's gonna come out at the end of the year for PS3 exclusive or PS4 exclusive at the launch. I do think that. When it comes to Sega, they're kind of screwed. But it's gonna be Sonic based at the end of the year. Yakuza is not making it over. I'm just saying random stuff. Valve, the Valve box, the Steam box, or whatever it's called.
I think that's not going to come out till next year.
That's not coming out till next year, and they may discuss it in one way, shape, or form, but they'll just be teasing the whole time. And Ouya will do modestly. It will do all right,
but
it'll mostly be used for entertainment purposes through and sometimes emulators, and also playing Ouya specific games.
And I'm just trying to think if there
is there anything else we missed?
Square Enix.
Square Enix will stay happy. They'll announce. They'll release Lightning Returns, and they will not announce
Versus
until Tokyo Game Show. And if it's not there, Why the hell are we even discussing this? Final Fantasy XIV, the remake, will also be received better.
You mean 10?
No, 14, the redo.
Well, Final Fantasy 10 remake.
That doesn't exist.
That was
That was an announcement before they had really started. It'll probably be announced and released again at the end of the year. And that's, I think that's pretty much it. Anything that comes out that's extremely bold in the end? Nothing?
I can tell you something bold.
Okay, what?
A new 2D Metroid. That's kind of bold. Or just new Metroid game in general. I think would be bold at this point.
Another bold one for me will be that that Halo 5 does make it out this year.
That is bold.
That's bold.
That's bold. That's really bold.
And Unreal 4 will be heavily used in a few new major games that are IPs. Anyway, that's pretty much it as far as I got it. We've been talking a whole lot about this year. Oh, and now, finally, to end it off...
We have a whole year to talk about it, too.
Yeah, a whole year to talk about it. So now we're going to end up with talking about this. What did Therm do in 2012?
Okay.
No, just be brief. Therm, we did videos on the Vita and the Wii U, both playing that. We went to both PAX East 2012 and New York Comic Con 2012. We started doing some video, a lot more thorough gameplays. We started showing, we continued doing Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
We have it recorded. We just need to get it out.
Yeah, we actually have another episode already finished. That's coming up very shortly, and then we'll go from there. We have another game that's been completed that we have to do in segments. That's going to be uploaded thereafter, and we also have a whole slew of games from 2010 that we recorded. As for 2013, we are going to PAX East 2013. We plan to go to New York Comic Con 2013. Yeah. We are still not pressed to go to E3,
so stop asking.
And to top it off, we are going to do an Ouya thing when we get ours, because as far as I know, it is in fact a thing still coming to us in 2017 aneurysm.
As far as whether we're going to get the next Xbox or next PS3, we don't have a lot of money.
Oh yeah, and PS3. I forgot all about the new PS4. We didn't tell you when that's coming out. That's either coming out like late November or 2014. Anyway, that's it. Any parting word?
No.
Okay.
No parting words.
Only joining words. Words that bring things together.